It's a few months after the bank was listed on Nairobi Stock Exchange. How is the business going? Thank you.
Mine is for the CFO. Last year there was a dividend per share of 13.89. This year is 12.2. Is there any explanation for this reduction?
Wagira ngo mutubwire ni ibiki by'ingenzi kuko iyo ugereranyije usanga inyongera ya 17% n'amafaranga menshi. Ni ibiki by'ingenzi byakozwe twavuga biri inyuma yo kwiyongera kwa amafaranga. Cya kabiri munatubwire ku bijyanye noneho n'inguzanyo urwego ziriho.
So for the first question asked by the journalist for KT Press, the cross-listing in Nairobi was meant to increase liquidity of our shares and was meant to facilitate people who want to buy shares in Bank of Kigali who have access to the Nairobi Securities Exchange. So it's very early to say what the impact is, but we believe after the release of our results for 2018, we are going to see a lot of activity. Hopefully a lot of excitement, and people are going to buy our shares because we are performing well. Ikibazo cyabajijwe kigendana ni ibintu by'ingenzi byakozwe umwaka ushize kugira ngo inyungu yacu yiyongere kuko twabyeretse. Twebwe nka banki ducuruza amafaranga. Iyo ducuruza amafaranga menshi turunguka. Iyo urebye inguzanyo zatanzwe umwaka ushize byiyongera menshi. Iyo amafaranga tutanze amafaranga menshi natwe tunguka kuko abantu bishyura interest. Nimureba neza muri reports twabahaye ubucuruzi bwacu muri insurance bwiyongereye cyane, yavuye kuri miliyoni 200 zirenga, ubu ngubu igeze kuri miliyoni 800 zirenga. Nuvuga ko ibikorwa byacu byo mu bwishingizi bigenda byiyongera byikuba hafi kabiri ku mwaka. Tukabona ko hakirimo potential muri iyo line, ariko n'ibindi bikorwa muri BK Capital byarungutse cyane. Muri technology ntabwo byunguka, ariko biragenda bidufasha ibindi bikorwa kugira ngo cyangwa kuri computer. Murakoze.
Thank you. On the question for the dividend amount from Shezad, we had around, you're right, 2017 was higher at about 13%, and of 18 francs. Now we are 12, but when you compare this without the additional capital, because we issued 222 million new shares, if you remove the new shares, the dividend would have been over 16 francs per share. So this includes the dilution. So it's still 40% of our profit after tax. It would have been higher had we not issued new share or raised more capital. However, this is still quite good when you compare it all in included with the new share capital. So all new shareholders also will get dividend at 12 francs each.
My name is Colin Smoy. I write for the New Times Daily. I notice an about 20% increase in operating cost. What were the major drivers of the rising cost? Also, in 2019, what projects does, especially infrastructure and government-related projects, is Becca looking to invest in, or what would be the profile of these projects? And third, on insurance, with the 14%, as one of the biggest players with 14% market share, what does BK Insurance have to say of a perception that local insurance companies operate in a cartel-like manner, and what are your thoughts on the ongoing process to review and revise the price upwards on motor insurance? Lastly, on a light note, how soon till Becca becomes a $1 billion firm? I noticed this.
That's the best question. So I'll start with the last question. You've seen that our total assets amount now to $980+ million. And we have no doubt that by end of Q1 this year will be a $1 billion company. and we'll be very proud to have reached that mark. The question on operating costs, we are in a phase where we're investing a lot in our core infrastructure, and we also have a big investment in terms of the strategy that we are designing that will lead us for the next 3 years. And this is where I think the most of our operating costs, the increase in our operating costs, this is what we are investing in. But also we are upskilling our staff. We are recruiting top people in the market. And of course this comes at a cost. But again, we believe it's a good investment because these people are very productive. And this is reflected in the numbers we just announced. In terms of projects, one comes to mind. We are financing WASAC, and one of the big projects I think they're working on is to introduce smart meters for water. And it's a project we are proud to be associated with because it's very much in line with the digital economy and smart infrastructure. This is one project we are financing. But I'll also give Vincent some time to talk to you about the pipeline we have this year. This is government-based because WASAC is a government entity, but we have a number of projects in the private sector that are also in nature of growing GDP, improving our trade balance, and of course reducing our imports in line with the Made in Rwanda initiative by government. So I'll let Vincent talk about the pipeline for 2019, and Nathalie maybe can add a bit more on the increase of our operating costs.
Thank you, Diane. Of course, without giving details and names of our clients, I'll just touch on the sectors that we have. We have a very good pipeline for 2019 in the areas of energy, water, like Diane has said. We have very good pipeline in terms of manufacturing and trade, especially in areas of oil and other imports. So the pipeline for 2019 is very healthy and very promising. Thank you.
So there's better news ahead for sure. We have the money to deploy. In terms of OPEX, I would say I wouldn't worry too much. We had a huge transformational cost last year, which we expect to be one-off. We're investing in digitization to make sure the experience for our customer is smooth and much better in terms of transacting with us. So that's what we saw as increase in terms of pressure for last year. They were mostly one-off costs, as mentioned in the commentary. We expect the 2019 cost to be pretty much flat on FY18.
Yeah, thank you. The question on market share, 14% is good, but we want to grow, and we want to be a leader. So like Bank of Kigali is no doubt #1 in banking sector. We want also to be #1 in the insurance sector. So the largest now market share in this market in terms of insurance has 18%, and maybe you know it. We know it. So 14 to 18%, there are still spaces to climb, and our aim is not to get to 18% because 18% would be still yes, it's sizable, but would still be a lower figure. We want to be more. So our vision and our target is to be a leader in the insurance sector, and where that leadership will take us, whether it takes us to 30 or 40 or 50, we will work to ensure that we get there. Now, in terms of reasons, we have the strength. I told you we are liquid. We have the capital. Shareholders have invested in this company heavily. I told you in our last press briefing, insurance companies here start with only 1 billion as the minimum regulatory capital. But when BK Insurance started, shareholders gave it 5 billion as the minimum capital. So imagine that difference. 5 times the required regulatory capital, and the intention was to give the company strength and the capacity to handle much bigger risks in this market and even in other markets. So that is why the growth is stable and exponential, because we have the capacity to settle customers' claims as they fall due. And we came at a time when customers were complaining about services in insurance. So our target was to be efficient in terms of service delivery, but ultimately honor promises that we give to our customers. Customers trusted us in 2016 when we started and trusted us in 2017, and we did not disappoint. That is why they are happy. They remained with us, and then word of mouth, even other customers joined us along the way in 2018. That is why you see the portfolio is growing. So we have the aim of still growing the portfolio, but grow the portfolio and make it sustainable. Even the largest insurance company, the one we are talking about with 18%, in terms of profitability, we are better. That means we are efficient in terms of risk assessment and management. So we have to grow the bottom line, the top line I mean, but still maintain a stable bottom line.
Nitwa Yvonne Murekatete, nkorera Flash TV na radio. Umuyobozi mukuru wa BK Group yari yabigarutseho, ariko nagira ngo abisobanurire neza. Muri sub izi niba nabyita izo mufite BK of Bank of Kigali, BK General Insurance, Tech House, zira zose muri zire enye mufite. Niyihe yungutse kurusha izindi? Ese hari icyo yihariye? Ese nayo muteganya guha imbaraga mu minsi iri imbere, kuko mwavuze ko mushaka kongera mukagera mu miliyarderi? Murakoze.
Turashaka kubabwira nkuko Vincent yabibabwiye, ubu ngubu hari inguzanyo zitangwa mu minsi itarenze 2, kandi tugatanga amafaranga ageze kuri miliyoni 30 nta ngwate dusabye. Ibyo ngibyo of course bijyanye n'umukiriya ukuntu ateye n'amafaranga atuzanira etc. Ariko ubu ngubu twashyizeho uburyo bworoshye cyane bwo kubona inyungu mu minsi itarenze 2, kandi nkuko yabibabwiye kera dosiye zose z'inguzanyo zagomba kuza hano i Kigali kugira ngo inguzanyo zitangwe. Ubu ngubu branches zose umuntu bashobora kujya Kimironko akasaba inguzanyo bakahita bayamushyira kuri konti, nashobora kuyasabira Rubavu cyangwa Nyamasheke. Ubu ngubu twabishyize mu buryo abantu aba branch managers bose bafite ubushobozi bwo gutanga inguzanyo. Ikijyanye n'inyungu ku nguzanyo, iyo mureba muri industry yose iragenda igabanuka, ariko ntabwo igabanuka cyane kuko ikiguzi cy'amafaranga kiracyari hejuru. Ariko hari ibikorwa byinshi, cyane cyane igikorwa cya leta yashyizeho umwaka ushize urangira mu mushyikirano cyo kureba ukuntu abantu bagira savings bakwizigamira ku gihe kirekire cyane, bizatuma banki zibona amafaranga y'igihe kirekire kandi ahendutse. Ibyo nibyo mu bintu bizatuma n'inyungu ku nguzanyo igabanuka. Ari ikibazo cya nyuma cyabajijwe kuri amasosiyete yandi twagiye dushinga muri group ya BK. Iyo iyungutse kurusha izindi ni insurance, ariko twubona ko n'izindi zifite potential yo kunguka cyane, ko zose twajisizeho dushaka kunguka, ntabwo twazishyizeho dushaka guhomba. Zose zifite potential. Imbaraga dushyira muri insurance ni nazo mbaraga dushyira mu zindi sosiyete, kuko tuzi ko hari business zishobora gukora kandi zigatuma abashoramari ba BK bunguka kandi bagatanga service nziza ku bakiriya ba BK. Murakoze.